Welcome to Hungry for God Home, and it's so good to be with you today. And I'm here with Paul and with Stephen, and I wanted to ask Stephen, one of the young men that's in our home currently, to share briefly about his testimony and what God has done in his life, because I know that it can be a blessing to others to hear the progress that God has been making in the lives of those that God is transforming and rescuing. So go ahead, Stephen.
Uh, well, it all started 7, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer, and she didn't really hold in that long. She only lasted about 6 months, which was even worse on me because I was closer to her than I was any other part of my family. And
Right.
after she passed away, I went down a really dark path.
Mm.
I started drinking and doing drugs and getting into fights a lot. And, it got to a point where everyone that I really hanged out with, which wasn't really that many people, they didn't even want to be around me because
Mm.
of the way I was. And whenever you have true friends, you think that they're gonna stick around for you in that time of need, but you know they just don't want to deal with it. So
Right.
to get away from all that, I and found out that my brother was moving down here to San Marcos because he was in kind of like the same situation. He wanted to get away from all the negativity
Mm-hmm.
and drama and everything. So I pretty much hitched a ride down here with him, and
Sure.
my living situations really didn't pan out like they were planned, and so I ended up being homeless for a good 2, 3 months, and I hit
What
a.
did that look like?
I was. I had this little raft that I was sleeping on the Colorado River.
Okay.
um, my brother was actually very caring in that time of need. He helped me in food situations and
Awesome.
finding me places to get showers whenever I had to go to work, when I did start working. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, but, you know, uh, during that time, I kind of hit a sort of rock bottom in my life, and I
Mm.
started just breaking down. And I remember I was on the phone with my mother, just telling her how I don't know how I'm gonna uh, deal with everything, because I really didn't have much money. I was already homeless, and when you're in that situation, it's never fun. You
Right.
you have to worry about everything. Um, so I remember my phone was like on 5%, and you know, once it died, I kind of just threw my phone and it broke, and um,
That was kind of like your lifeline to
yeah,
everybody else.
yeah, because I was on the phone with my mother whenever it died, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I got kind of aggravated. And um, so after my grandmother passed away, I lost connection with God and stopped going to church,
Okay.
and I kind of blamed him for taking my grandmother away, and really didn't understand why. And
Right.
so, 6 years later, I was homeless, and um, I found myself sleeping in a park, and that night my phone died. I just started praying to God for the first time in 6 years, and
Wow.
I just asked him. I said, Lord, if you can help me in my time of need, this is really, the lowest I've gotten, you know, ever. And um, if you can help me get back on my feet, help me get a place to live, and show me your ways, I'll start going to church again. I'll start, praying more, and reading the Bible again, and start establishing that connection with you. And so I had a wake up call like a few days later. I almost drowned in the Colorado River where I was sleeping at, and um, I kind of had like a flashback of all the bad stuff I've done and everything, and it was kind of like God smacking me in the face, saying, "Look, all this stuff I don't want you to do anymore. You're gonna do what I want now." And ever since then, I've been doing that, and my after like that night, I was on the phone with my mom again, and uh, I told her, that I was really kind of thinking about going to a homeless shelter, but I really didn't want to because it was just a new experience for me, and I knew there was a lot of, negativity in that situation too. So, my mom, she said, well, let me see what I can find online, help-wise tonight, and I'll call you in the morning and let you know what I found. And I really wasn't expecting much because I was in a new, side of Texas,
Sure.
didn't really know anybody, and my mom called me at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I've only had like 3 hours of sleep because when you're homeless, you really don't sleep that much. You have to stay awake, paying attention to everything. And
Right.
so she called me and she said, okay, so I found this pastor that takes in guys in your situation and helps them get back on their feet.
Hmm.
And he's on his way to Bastrop right now, and you need to be at McDonald's waiting for him so he can interview you. And I was like, okay, well, do you know what he looks like? And she's like, no, I was just told he was a pastor. I'm pretty sure he'll see you because I told him what you look like. You have tattoos and you wear a hat and, dark clothes. And I was just like, well, okay. So I remember I was at McDonald's and, I was kind of just watching everyone and, kind of questioning, like, is that him? Is that him? So, finally Pastor Larry walks up on me, and I'm sitting like at the back corner in a booth, and he says, "Are you Steven?" I was like, "Yeah." "Are you Pastor Larry?" He's like, "Yeah, awesome, cool, I found you." He interviewed me, and after that he took me to eat. This is at a point where I hadn't eaten for like a week, so when he took me to this barbecue place, he had said, so your mother shared with me that you probably haven't eaten in a while, so what do you want to eat? I'm like,